The problem, obviously, is how to get the money. Neither we as a family nor Ofer Piram, our partner, had the money. So we started looking and thinking about potential partner. And at that days, as I mentioned, Romania, that was well known in its corruptions and stories about people that were cheated, lands that were bought and the owners or the sellers were not the owners, a lot of stories. It was very hard to convince any potential partner to come in. Fortunately enough, in these days we represented an Israeli company dealing with printing and billboards, company called Nur Focus. Later, a few years later, it was listed on the Nasdaq stock exchange under the name Nur Technologies. In those days, I was flying, I think every 2 weeks, with the owner, Moshe Nur. In one of the flights, I was telling him about our new venture and our idea to build a hotel next to the airport. And he told me that he is interested, as a private person, to enter this joint venture. Obviously, it didn't go so quickly, but it didn't was so difficult, and luckily enough, after a few weeks, we established a new company, which is called Hotel2 Serele, in which Nur Focus, so Moshe, one of, I think it was his private company, owned 50% of that company, and our company, Comtel, which was at that time owned by Ofer Piram and my family, 50-50. The company was established and we bought the land. So in reality there was a joint venture in which we brought the previous land, Moshe Nur brought this land, and together we established a 50-50 joint venture. We started learning about hotel and the key success factors for hotels. As we never built hotel, none of the owners, nor especially my father, who built hundreds of thousands of square meters, never built a hotel. What we understood is that in order to be successful, we need to approach hotel chain, an international hotel chain which has brand awareness around the world, and hopefully international business travelers will come and stay in the hotel. At that time, there were only 2 hotel chains in Romania. One was the old international Intercontinental Hotel in the middle of Bucharest, that was built under the communist regime and waited for renovation. And there was a newly built hotel, Sofitel, by Accor, that was finished in 1994 and was actually the best hotel in town. We heard a lot of story at that time how local hotels are run, and how the customer, when he was about to check out, he was ready to pay something official to the hotel and the unofficial to the desk manager in the hotel. We understood, therefore, that hotel chain can help us, first of all, to design a very effective hotel, which means that we can generate, or we could generate, income for every square meter in the hotel, comparing to existing hotels, which the rooms were very, very small, speaking about 14 to 15 square meter of net sleeping area in the rooms, where the international standard already those days was about 21, 23 square meter for a 3-star hotel. And the communist hotels had huge restaurant, ground floor, public area, which didn't generate money. In other words, small rooms where money is generated, and huge public space when money is not generated. So the first idea was to find or to get a hotel chain that would help us to get a very effective design. The other thing is to avoid all this monkey business around the front desk. In other words, to get accurate accounting. And this could be done by technology that was already used in those days and was very common in all the hotels around the world in non-communist countries. The third, which perhaps the most important thing for a bank, was to get a guarantee from the operator to guarantee a certain income so that the hotel will be able to repay the bank loan. It was very uncommon that, due to the risk that an international hotel chain will come up with an income guarantee, but at least we try to get some sort of a performance guarantee or performance clause with the hotel chain. As I mentioned, we did not have any experience with hotels, and therefore we realized that in order to speak with hotel chains, we need to have a consultant that knows how to talk their language. In other words, use their terminology, terms, and all other legal aspects which are crucial to conclude the deal. We found an Israeli guy called Yossi Fisher, who at that time represented the Swiss hotel chain Mövenpick in Israel. We approached, first of all, Mövenpick for obvious reasons, but they had no interest to enter into Romania. We then got an offer from Accor. Since they had already Sofitel, it was easy for them to use the same personnel to run a hotel. They also came up with a performance offer to us, but what they suggested us is to buy to build a 2-star hotel, while we went and we were interested to buy a 3 or even 4-star hotel. We then heard that the large Israeli Africa Israel got the franchise of Holiday Inn in Israel.